What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. Yes, I'm back and I'm joined by AJ. It has been a while. I'll be honest, I feel like a rookie right now, even starting the show. I'm looking all around me. I'm saying what buttons work, what buttons don't work, but we're here. We're going to talk about all the latest with Palace. As you can see from the title, Eze's agent potentially held talks with Chelsea, but we're going to talk about a load of other stuff. Most importantly, the Europa League, the protests, and everything else that's been going on. And make sure to get involved throughout the chat. Even if you're watching on replay, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below and get involved in the live chat. Hit the like button. Let's see if we can get 100 likes and subscribe if you're new. Before we get started, next season, with or without Europa League, it's going to be a busy season. And here we're going to have loads of content as well. So even though we took a nice little break, we've been planning behind the scenes because there's going to be a lot of content coming through. So it should be exciting. So make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. AJ, we haven't even been able to catch up properly. I thought, you know what? Let's go live. Let's catch up with the chat and yourself. How you been, bro?
Busy, man. Working a lot. I had a small break about 2-3 weeks ago. Literally at home, relaxing, video games, catching up on games I bought, and just been gathering dust. Spending time with the little ones. That's it, man. I'm just chilling, man. Obviously, I've been frustrated with what I've been hearing, but
There's
that's
been
on the
so
Palace
much,
squad.
like, we haven't even had a proper break as a football club since the season's ended. It's been drama, even till this day. We're talking about drama. It hasn't even ended. Whether we're going to play in the, well, right now it seems like it's the Conference League, but you never know with Palace. We'll talk about the potential appeal and the whole scenario with the Europa League, but it's been non-stop. It's literally been non-stop. And after last season, the way that the season ended, I just had to take a little break and enjoy it. And I've been enjoying this summer so far. I ended it on the FA Cup high. I know I've come back with everything that's going around Europe, but let's let's start with that. As to Chelsea, we can talk about that a bit later on. I'll be honest, for me, seeing Palace playing Europe is going to be massive. Whether that's Europa League or Conference League, I'm looking forward to it. It's in my head, maybe some may say copium, but for me, it's not. It's the reality. If we play in a Conference League, it's still a win-win situation. Conference League, we've got a bigger chance of winning that competition. I think automatically we are one of the favorites if we enter it. But if you ask me, I would 100% rather play in Europa League. But the good thing is we will be playing in Europe next season. So that's how I see it. But of course, we've been done dirty. I've been catching up on everything that's been going on. Of course, the whole process throughout the last month or so, there's been so many twists and turns, and Palace was going to stay. Palace going to get demoted. Palace going to get kicked out of Europe completely. So there was lots of things going on. But the situation right now is that we've been demoted to the Conference League. I'm pretty sure we'll be appealing. Not pretty sure. I'm certain. So we'll see what happens with that because I think we've got a good case. But the most annoying thing about this, AJ, of course, there was a protest yesterday that we can talk about today as well. It was a good turnout. Is that we are stuck in between something that we haven't done anything wrong in. That's the crazy thing. We don't operate as a multi-club model. We haven't done any business that I can remember. Maybe there was like one goalie, Lucas Perry. Did he come from Botafogo one time? Maybe that one business that we done and he didn't even feature for the first team. But we haven't done any transfers between Lyon, Botafogo, and all the other clubs. And most importantly, Texter all along has said that he doesn't have a decisive influence at a football club, and that's the reason why he wants to sell it. So, based on the reasons why we get kicked out, forget about the deadline. We haven't done it. Like Texter doesn't have decisive influence. In fact, he's not involved with the football club right now, and we have to pay the price for what? Because we didn't break the rules initially. I don't care about the March 1st deadline because March 1st deadline doesn't mean anything when we haven't needed to match the criteria of UEFA because right now we don't operate as they think we do. But what's your thoughts on everything, man?
God. I liked what you mentioned earlier on. For us as a football club, Europe is Europe. So it is a first for us, whether it be the Conference League or the Europa League. However, if we do end up having to play out the Conference League, there is a part of me that was like initially like, oh, well, you know what, we could always win that going to the Europa League. It's still extra income. It's still European football. But I'm going to be honest. I am a bit of a, I won't even say sore loser. I can be a very petty and type person where it's good. No matter what, it's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth. It's going to make. There's always going to be that mindset and thought in the back of my mind where it's like, well, we were essentially robbed of a European spot in Europa League, which is more lucrative, and potentially bigger clubs coming down to visit us on Wednesdays, Thursdays, whatever it may be. Um, it does feel like we're being punished and made an example of by the powers that be, because it just seems that all of these rules are exempt for the bigger boy teams. But then when it comes to little old Crystal Palace in comparison, it's just like, it's just a criminal. We can just make an example of them. That you can't help but feel that it is unfair on such a major scale. And I think the thing that's really pissing me off is all these dodgy dealings that Leon or Forest are doing in the background.
Yeah,
Everybody's all nicing each other up, and everybody's all nice in each other's bank accounts to make sure they're okay and they're all fine. And it just feels like we're the ones that's just been forgotten about and cast aside. And it's just like whatever's will be is be. I do like the fact that the fans are not taking it lying down. Protests are protests, Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have the time to be taking time off work to be protesting, so the chance of you ever seeing me down there is very, very slim. Um, and on a completely random side note, self-vandalization in terms of outside stadiums and local properties and businesses in the area ain't the way to get things done, people. So I'm just gonna have to make that little point there. Um, it's just nasty, man. It's just a nasty sour taste that is left in everyone's mouth. Not mine alone. I mean, I know there's been scenarios where we've had opportunities to talk on different platforms about it. And I'll be honest, I don't feel individually that I would have been ready to do that anyway, because I think that in that situation, it would have been too raw, and it would have came out very, very frustrating. There would have been swear words in there. Would have been aggression coming out of there. I've kind of had the time to allow it process, and I think I'm now at the stage where it's like, you know what? Just tell me whatever's going to happen at the end of it. Just give me the end result. If we're going to appeal, I don't need to be seeing roughly when it will be. Just let me know when it's done. Hopefully the Court of Arbitration for Sport will back us and will see the common sense in everything going on here and will reinstate us. I just don't like how bitter it's becoming and how toxic it's becoming. Because this should be the time of the season. This should be the time of the year where we're getting excited for new kits. We're looking at players coming back for preseason. People are renewing their season tickets. People, Community Shield tickets came out over the past sort of 24, 48 hours. You're only seeing an odd person talk about that. We are so laser focused on all the injustice that we've had. We can't talk about transfers. We're not sitting there talking about Palace news about being linked with this player, that player.
that's the biggest thing that people missing out on.
But that's the thing as well. We can't even go for targets because we don't know what kind of situation, finances, funds we're even looking at.
That's the problem. That's the biggest problem about this. Right now, we've signed 2 players, and I'm happy with the transfers. Sosa, I think, is an improvement because we literally didn't have a left wing back cover. So that's nice to see. And he was actually decent against Millwall with a few crosses into the box. So that was exciting to see. And, Benitez, backup goalie. So we've managed to do that. But we don't know what competition we're going to be in next season. There is a difference between the Conference League and Europa League, even in terms of the prize money and how much you earn playing per game. So it's hard for us to plan. And we saw it last season. Last summer, we were literally talking about, well, why are we not signing players? Glazer wanted players in early. And then we saw the impact that it had to the start of our season. Glazer admitted that. He said, the reason why we struggled because we got players in late. We couldn't have a proper preseason. And it impacted us for the first 9 games or so, which was a lot of points. And I don't want to be in a similar position. But right now, I don't think anyone can be mad at the football club because it's not as easy to say, oh, let's go sign him. Well, what if we get Europa League? We might be able to do better. We might be able to spend a bit more money and sign a player on a better level. So that's the most annoying thing. And you know what? it's not over yet. But the Conference League draw is going to be early August. So how long is this going to go on for? Because it's impacting our transfer business, and we're mid-July right now, and we can't really sign any players.
I agree with that. I think the thing is, right, I'm not going to pretend like I've sat there and read documents. That I'm not even going to try blag that. But it would appear that the financial benefit in terms of prize money, there's not a sizable decline between the two competitions. Where the lucrative scenarios come from is the type of teams you're playing and the type of teams you're playing at said grounds. And then obviously ticket share and prize share amongst those teams per round. That is where we're having the headaches. And back onto the original point you made, you are right. There are certain types of players that we might want to bring through the door. And the differential saying, oh, well, you know what, next season we're going to be playing in the Conference League, or even to certain players, next season we're going to be playing in the Europa League. That is where the headaches are potentially going to lie for us. You know, earlier on in the summer, there were obviously big names that we were linked with. You know, you talk about your Bakayokos, you talk about your Juves, you talk about Diamondes and stuff. Can we even get those players over the line? Because what do you sell to them? What project do you sell to these players?
You can't sell anything. Well, you can sell the Premier League. We're there for certain, and you can sell the fact that we've got a winning manager and that we won a cup and we want to go for more glory. But for some players, there is a difference between Europa League and Conference League. They might want to play in Europa League and not the Conference League. And it's not just the players that's coming into the football club, players potentially leaving. You know, what does this mean for Gehi or Eze if we're playing in Conference League rather than Europa League? Does that make them more inclined to leave? You know, there are question marks which we can't even answer. We can't answer right now. And we're mid-July, and this has been dragging on since what? Season's ended. And we're a month away from the new season. So that's the most annoying thing. It's not just the incomings, it's the outgoings as well. I know there's certain players, for example, that we're happy to leave. Well, we're happy that they could leave tomorrow and we'll be fine with. And that's likes of Edward, etc. But, you know, the Ezes and the Gahis and players coming in, it's just a headache. It's a headache that we shouldn't be in because we never really benefit from a multi-club model. Steve Parish doesn't like a multi-club model idea. John Textor wanted to sell the club, and you can go read his interviews at Athletic because he didn't have decisive influence, and that's the reason why he wanted to sell it. And here we are getting blamed for something which we don't do. But
it just seems to me, bruv, it's like every summer is just something else. Like last summer, it was like, oh, players are coming in too late, like World Cups and European tournaments or whatever, you know, Olympics. Oh, that's holding this player up. These players are burnt out. Now this summer, it's like, we're getting players in too late. We don't even know. Like, when can we catch a break as a football club, bro? That's where my heart is at. That's what I'm sitting there thinking about. Why was I deprived the summer of just enjoying winning the FA Cup and there's not just looking forward to worrying about the new season? You got teams like Sunderland that are moving crazy. Yes, granted, the quality of player is different, but you've got other clubs. You know, you've even got your Brightons and all other clubs are making moves. Granted, yes, we have brought in 2 players. I will not take that away from the team, and they are 2 quality players. But think about what kind of movement we'd be doing if we just knew what kind of competition we were in, what kind of money we're working with, what kind of budgets we're working with, and we were able to get these players in and get pre-season and get preparations underway. You got to think about it. There's even probably a whole bandwidth of merch that the club are probably got in the pipeline, like just in relation to what kind of European competition they have. So, bro, one normal summer for Crystal Palace. That's all I ask.
Exactly.
All I ask, bro.
Literally after winning the FA Cup. It's like ever since we won the FA Cup, which no one can take that away from me, as I said, that feeling will never go. So regardless, even if we had no Europe, I experienced my team win a trophy, which we'll talk about a particular team in about a few minutes time, because I want to get your thoughts on maybe one of the reasons why we're not in the Europa League, because of people just snitching. But like I've experienced that. I experienced that last season. But despite that, it's just been drama. It's been more drama than it should be. And it's been non-stop. Like UEFA took that. You can't appeal something if they can't make a decision. That's the most annoying thing. They literally made a decision only now, and it's been going on for longer than a month. And that's that's what's messed us up. If they make their decision early on, and then we done our appeal, and whether the appeal goes for us or against us, right now, we know what we're playing in. But it only happened a few days ago. You know, they waited all this time, and now it's still dragging on, which is impacting our business. But hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. But what's your thoughts on Forest? Because I'll be honest, Forest, not just with us, even with Morgan Gibbs White and the release clause and everything like that, I really can't stand them. I really can't. I'll admit it here. I'll be hate watching them next season. Not because,
right?
Yeah, I get their perspective. They're trying to do the best for them, but they're with their owner and everything that's gone on, even last season, going on a pitch. When I don't remember what game it was, but there was that public. Well, I don't know if you.
When he came out and had a bit of a go at Nuno.
Yeah, Nuno. They've hired ex-referees because decisions are going against them. And funny enough, Forest, if there's one football club that's actually been accused of cheating, it's been Forest. They've literally been fined for cheating and going against the rules. So yeah, Forest is the one club right now. It's like they're not.
Here's the thing, right?
Weird behavior from them.
Here's the thing, right? Right. Nottingham Forest. I'm going to try and be as diplomatic as I possibly can.
I'm not being no diplomat.
Actually, fuck the diplomatics. Like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, you don't need to be diplomatic.
Let me say something, right? There has not been really any Forest fans out there that have kind of gone out their way to piss man off. So I will never dig out their club as a whole.
You haven't seen Forest fans TV Wolfie then?
No. Bar one Forest fan.
Yeah.
That is online waffling in his mummy's basement talking hella crap. I'm not even going to get into that because this brother is a waffler anyway on all kinds of accounts. And you know what? He looks like he could even be... I'm not going to get personal.
No, don't get personal. Wolfie's a cool guy.
No. Let me not get personal. But big man, you seem to forget where your football club was X amount of years, not even X amount of years ago, it was a couple of years ago. It was very nice and very good to see Nottingham Forest finally get themselves back into the Premier League after the years of frustration, escaping a relegation. But it's like, big man, you've cheated your way or you've back-alleed your way into something and you're sitting on some mad high horse. And I can't figure out why. You ain't even earned it like that, big boy. Have a little bit of shame. You see what I'm saying? Like, have a little bit of shame. Because your chairman's gone and done his little off-the-books dodgy dealings and having dinner with UEFA officials and the rest of it and done a little couple back alley things. And all of a sudden, you're talking and letting your nuts hang. Like, big man, like, actually take yourself out of the situation and look at it from a non-biased perspective. Because the way you're acting is like you fully earned it. You're on this high horse, and I cannot seem to figure out why. So that's how I feel about said individual. It's not Forest's fans if your club is operating, just like it's not our fault that Texas kind of done us over indirectly. However, Forest's chairman is moving like a Bond villain. He's moving nuts. He's doing some bad stuff. It's like he's on a one-man mission. That's what I'm saying. It's like he's on a one-man mission to tear up whoever he needs to tear up to get his way. He's like a spoilt brat. Like, it's like, oh, it's not going my way. I'm going to complain. I'm going to cry. Big man, this guy is already corrupt on all kinds of levels anyway. So before you're there out there throwing stones, please look at the glass house you've got behind you. Because corruption with referees back in Greece and all that rest of it, moving mad and getting fined and all the rest of it with all your dodgy ownerships, having a go at your manager in front of the cameras, which, as far as I'm concerned, professionalism-wise, it was not cool, but, it's not my football club, so it's not my politics. Complaining to the FA and officials because buyout clauses got exposed, and now arting that you're trying to get all funny and... There is just too much dodgy stuff going on around you, bro. Excuse the term, but you're going on like your shit don't stink, and it does. And it's just pissing me off. But at the same time, I'm trying not to dig out Forest fans because it's not their fault. It's not
all of them. No, but there is.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault, but there are some that are like literally rubbing it in the faces. So it's like,
you know
what's crazy? the fact that out of all the clubs here, Brighton, I remember when it first initially happened, as I said, I've been away, I've been enjoying myself. But I saw it, like Brighton were one of those clubs saying, we're not going to bring this to UEFA. Like, we're fine with how it is, with the multi-club model, etc. Like, that. Out of all the clubs, it wasn't Brighton, it's Forest. You get there could have been other clubs that could have challenged and brought it forward. Like, it's not Brighton, it is Forest. And for that reason, they've dug themselves a hole. And I hope it goes well for them, because if it doesn't, then we will be there. We will be there. And we've seen Nuno in the Premier League before. And we've seen him towards the end of last season, where things were slowly getting exposed. And they've lost Elanga. We'll see if they keep Morgan Gibbs-White. But that first game at home against Forest, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great because I want us to turn up. But the funniest thing will be if it does happen, which I don't even know at this point if it will, but if Cass actually overturn the decision, it'll be amazing, because the way that Forest fans are talking, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's like you go to work and some unentitled don just walks through the door and gets a promotion above you. It's mad.
It's not all of them.
It's not all of them. But if I'm looking at it subjectively towards the club, you're not making any friends anytime soon. But you know what? Football's not always about making friends, at least from that kind of level of ownership. It's just mad.
It's wolfy. Of course,
I'm not even going to get into
Wolfie as well from Forest Fan TV. Of course, that'll follow him and that will join in. But as I said, like, good luck to them. There have been some Forest fans that have said, we don't want to enter in this particular fashion because it is not a good look for the football club. But yeah, let's see what happens. It's also very weird how Forest and Lyon have been doing business together, like Textar, like
and Botafogo. Let's not rule them out as well, because it's like you're buying 3 players from Botafogo, then you're buying a player from Lyon, then the money's moving over here, and nobody's sitting there thinking, that's a bit suspicious. I'm not a genius, nor am I an academic, but common sense is common sense, bro. And if something looks fishy, it often is. So let's not all sit here and pretend like it's all circumstances. Like, we know what's going on. But the thing that's winding me up the most about it, because don't get me wrong, even from Lyon's side, no one's out here trying to see Lyon get relegated. That's their own set of politics. That's a super club.
They don't even want Textar. Funny enough,
the fact that Textar essentially buried that club into something insane and they got it overturned, I'm actually very happy for him. But now it's getting silly, because now it's costing us. And now we're the ones that are becoming the victims in a situation that's now at this stage got nothing to do with us. Big man, I just hope the Court of Arbitration of Sport come through, put us back into it. I won't even care about the Forest element in that. I won't even say justice as such. In fact, not justice. I think we just need to be respected and given what we earned. And if nobody can relate to that, big man, you need to go outside more.
Yeah. A lot of fans, like neutrals, I think they understand where we're coming from. But of course, it'll be the rivals that don't want us to be in the Europa League. But as I said to you at the start of the stream, either way, I'm happy. I'm going to see Palace win. Well, not win, play in Europe. But the chances of us winning the Conference League is higher than Europa League. Even saying that 100%, I'd rather be in the Europa League. At least, thankfully, we're not completely out of all European competitions, because that would have been crazy works. But Saga's not over. Just quickly, AJ, and also people in the chat. How do we see this ending up then? Now we've been demoted to the Conference League. Do you reckon there is a chance? Well, there is. We will appeal it, but do you reckon we will come out on top? Based on everything that Steve Parish has been saying?
I think there's definitely a lot of confidence, but A, because it's Crystal Palace, and B, just because we've been dragged and messed about so far this summer, I'm going to go 60-40 against it. Just because, I think I'm at the stage where I'm just preparing myself for the worst, because it will be the hope that kills you. And I'm just tired of being frustrated and angry about it. I just want to be at that stage where it's like, you know what? Let's just get into the new season and let's not pretend. If we won a Conference League, the gas tanks are getting unleashed. Like, we're turning them all the way up, and we're going to go party and get turned and, be breaking down tears in, Leipzig? How ironic, where the final is. come next season.
Yeah,
So
Red Bull
I
Leipzig.
will support my club no matter what, and I'll back the team and the guys no matter what. But
I mean, it makes me laugh though. The fact that the final's been held at Red Bull Leipzig Stadium, it'll be like the most paddest thing to go and win the Conference League at Red Bull Leipzig Stadium after being demoted to the Conference League because of multi-club rules. And then going to Leipzig to win it. I think it's written. It's written. It's so obvious. I was saying that. I don't know if a lot of people have realized this because I didn't notice this as well till I searched into it. We actually have to qualify for the Conference League. In the Conference League, there's no teams out there that are automatically in the league phases. So the qualification
it just gets better and better and better by the day, don't it?
yeah, so the qualification period will be towards the end of August. There'll be 2 legs. Thankfully, we won't be facing any of the seeded teams. And if you ask me to see the teams, who they are, I'll bring them up in just a second. But they're the strongest teams, basically. We are one of those in terms of the teams. But yeah, we do actually have to go through a playoff round, but that's just everyone. God knows who we get towards the end of the tournament because but I think we've got a good chance in the Conference League, to be fair, if we do end up there. But right now I just want a decision. I just want to move on. It's tiring hearing new things every other day, but apparently the Fanatics will be going to Switzerland to protest there as well, so shout out to them.
I mean, all fair play to him, but I just feel like it's gonna fall on deaf ears. I think you have to be very careful with the protesting side of things because UEFA are very tedious in terms of the way they operate and stuff like that. And you just need to be careful.
In
No one
terms
saying you
of
can't go out
it'll
there.
be like petty.
Yeah, I could imagine UEFA, rather than being reasonable, I can imagine them doing something very, very petty and going out of their way to make our lives even more difficult. So I hope all the fans go out there and be safe. They're perfectly entitled to obviously protest, but just I don't know. As a famous Neil Warnock would say, just do it by being disciplined.
Yeah, but it's getting a lot of media attraction, which is good. Even today, Sky Sports were talking about it, BBC, everyone's talking about it, and eventually someone from UEFA will see it as well. So any bit of pressure right now will help. But can you see the teams then? So we would be, of course, replacing Forest in the Conference League. But as you can see, at the top, it's playoffs. There's no league phases. If this was the Europa League and we're still in the Europa League, we would be automatically into the league phase. But Conference League, no team enters the league phase. However, the good thing is we won't be facing these top teams as will be seeded. But it could be any of these teams, depending on who qualify from the first round to the second round. I'll be honest.
There's some banana skins in there, though.
Huh?
There are some banana skins in there. There's some teams in there that are not as terrible as we think.
There's Alkmaar there.
Bromby, IAK, Athens.
Yeah.
Rien. Yeah. There's a few teams in there.
Yeah, and it'll be after the Forest game, funny enough, and before the Villa game. So the 2 legs will be in between those 2 games. So I think the Villa game will have to get moved if it stays as it is. But yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to go maybe to an away day. I'll be honest, for the whole tournament, I said this about the FA Cup, and I'm so happy it was like that. To be fair, it wasn't as easy as I expected. Give me the easiest teams possible. I want us to go as far as possible. I know some people, to be fair, let us know what you lot think in the chat, because some people might want to face particular teams and have away days or even see them at Sellers Park. But with me,
that would be cool. But I say that for the group stage and the knockouts.
Yeah, literally. Let's get to the group stage.
You get me? Plus, that gives me a bit more time to save for those trips. So let's just let's just get there and get the certified. Because what is it, 8 games? It's 8 games, isn't it?
No, 6 in the Conference League. In the Europa League is 8.
So, so there you go. So let's just get to that stage first. Should that be the scenario that plays out? Let's get to that stage. Then we can start having our big European nights. Getting Thursdays off compared to getting Sundays off and Saturdays off is a lot more easier. So let's just, take our time.
Why has nothing been said about Bromby? Blitzer has shares in them. Apparently he's fine.
How convenient.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy. At least they didn't use that as an excuse to completely kick us out. But yeah, it's fine. So yeah, some of these teams, in here. I mean, there'll be some nice away days, but I mean, look, this team, FK Koschi, they don't even have a badge. The badge is not uploaded.
It's right, man. It just hasn't been updated, man. It ain't been updated.
Yeah, look, there's a
Maybe
few
that was
teams
another
that need
UEFA
updated.
email that was missed. You
Yeah,
get me?
no,
So
probably like Camel Grovers away days. Well,
you
that's
think I'm not
still
traveling? You think I'm not on that road trip to Ireland on the
well, yeah,
ferry? Let's go.
Z
Let's
trip.
go.
Yeah, but the first qualifying round, I believe they're playing the games tomorrow. So
Oh,
I think they
fair.
played the first leg already. So some of these teams will go through to the next round. Not that any team in here sticks out for me.
So what?
That I know.
No multiple watch alongs. Yeah.
Imagine we get like it would be so typical of Palace to get a away trip to Haverford West in Wales. No,
Yeah, man. The closer the better, man. The closer the better, man. We got to think about travel and work the next day.
Yeah, true. But yeah, if we do stay in the Conference League, we'll be in the playoffs, and that'll be played, I believe, on the 21st of August and also the 28th. So yeah, and then
Fingers
if we
crossed.
do get through, then we'll be in the league phases. And yeah, that is the reason why. But looking at shares is silly, honestly, it's silly. Because Texter had the shares, but only had 25% influence in terms of voting share rights. So it's such a basic way to say, oh, he has God knows how many shares at the football club. He has decisive influence. It doesn't work like that. He doesn't have decisive influence despite the amount of shares he holds. So yeah, but UEFA, they struggle to understand common sense. Common sense doesn't work for everyone, I guess. So yeah. Let's talk about Eze quickly. As you can see from the title, Chelsea have held talks with Eze's agents. That's not really a major surprise to me. I don't really expect to see Eze going to Chelsea, but it'd be an interesting shout. It's been mainly Arsenal, right? Where do you stand with Eze and everything that's going on in regards to him?
Reasons. It's quite funny, actually. But it's quite funny when you talk about players like that, because when you work in a large team, obviously you've got loads of different guys that support loads of different football clubs. Your Arsenals, your Chelseas, your Man Uniteds, and a few odd other teams. Let's not go there. But it's quite funny how you will see them sort of be quite blasé about it in terms of like, you get me, we'll just get it for 40 million or 50 million or whatever. Big man, there's a release clause. The only teams that I think would actively, it's quite interesting because I can imagine Chelsea actively paying it. But then does Eze want to be going into a Chelsea team who churns out weird 5 to 8 year contracts to then chew him out and spit him out in 18 months' time and probably end up loaning him back to us regardless? I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea have just got too much of a large squad for Eze to take that risk. I think out of the teams that are available, Arsenal seemed like the most reasonable destination. But the thing is, I don't see them activating the release clause. I just don't think they will. We've had this problem with the Zaha situation X amount of years ago. Arsenal seem to be more focused on obviously I have no idea what Arsenal's budget is. Different animal, especially compared to the likes of us. But I feel like they seem to be more concentrated on a striker and trying to get this Madueke deal over the line as well, which I understand they're not too happy about either. But I don't think he's going Chelsea. I don't think he suits the narrative of the players they're buying, because their thing seems to be really young, exciting prospected talent that they can sort of either flip for a profit or they will end up loaning them out to Strasbourg and all the rest of it. Does a 27/28-year-old Eze match that recruitment structure? Unless they're going to start changing the way they sort of recruit players. I think the really good thing that they would benefit out of it is obviously Eze is a player for now. Like, Eze is an exciting player. He will sell shirts. He will get crowds. He will get players. He will get the crowd on their feet for a club like Chelsea. And for his career development, obviously, larger chance of winning trophies. We cannot be naive to that. But I just don't think he suits the recruitment model. It just almost seems like a bit of a non-starter.
Then again, they just won a Club World Cup, so it might be a case of like they might think we're not that far off winning the Prem. Could that be the case?
That's fair.
Let's try to bring a Prem-proven player. I think that's the case with Arsenal as well. But with Arsenal, just quickly going on that, because Arsenal's been the main club that Eze has been linked with. I saw it today as well. Ranieri is signing a new contract, and apparently there's been promises made that he's going to be behind Odegaard. So the next position they're looking at is left winger. After that news has come out, don't quote me on this. I saw it on social media. I can't find a source right now, but I saw something along the lines of Arsenal are not willing to meet the release clause because they think, what was the word? They used a crazy word about us. They said that we're a vulnerable club. Yeah, we're a vulnerable club.
Oh, yes, I saw that and he died.
Yeah, we're a vulnerable
dude.
club. And I can see Arsenal playing the long game with this, because if Wanyeri is going to be the backup to Odegaard, is there better left wingers that will suit Arsenal more than Eze? Because Eze is not a left winger. I mean, we can land there.
That's the fascinating thing as well. He's not a left winger. He's and if you're talking, let's not pretend, Ethan Herrera is a brilliant player. Odegaard's a brilliant player. They've still got a whole bag of midfielders there, like Moreno. I guess if you're looking more number 10, you can put Havertz in that conversation as well. Who am I forgetting? Declan Rice. Vieira, obviously not as good. Apparently, Lokonga's still there. I found out the other day. There's players there, like, so is Eze really going to take the risk? And I'm not saying, Eze's not good enough. Eze's excellent, and I feel like Eze could definitely get into that Arsenal squad. And remember, they've got more constant European competitions, and they're in competitions longer, so squad rotation is a thing. But is he really?
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Does he really have to? Would he really want to go to Arsenal at this time with the kind of squad they've got?
I'm going to deny that. I think he does.
No.
Two things can be right as well. Eze would want to go to Arsenal, but also Eze. It doesn't mean that Eze is desperate to go to Arsenal as well. We saw it with Elise. Elise literally stayed for another season and got moved to Bayern Munich. So,
but that's the thing. That's the team I'm more worried about. Bayern Munich's the one I'm actually worried about.
But Bayern is not really involved. That's not the case.
You don't think? But listen, first things you got to take. No. 3 things you got to take into consideration. He's been linked with them. His name has been mentioned, right?
Yeah, a while ago.
He works excellently with Elise. Let's not pretend that's not a thing. We had a couple seasons with him, so we already know. And Musiala's injured. And Musiala injured could be looking at pretty much most of the season out of the team. So they need a number 10 or an attacking midfielder that can do some damage for them. If I'm a Bayern Munich sporting director, activating that 68 million or whatever it is release clause is not far fetched and not unrealistic. And I reckon Eze could do some serious damage in that league with a Bayern Munich team.
Yeah, 100%. I think he can as well, but he hasn't been linked with them for a while. So unless something comes,
watch this space. That is the one I'm worried about. If that becomes a thing, that's the one I'm worried about. The other ones, I don't see it.
Arsenal, I do. Let's see what happens with them, because they might play the long game and then try to trigger it before his release clause expires. Remember, last year, Eze's release clause expired, I believe, on...
Yes, I mean, open for like a month period, isn't it?
15th or 16th of August. So based on last year, they've got about a month left. And that makes sense, because after that, we wouldn't want to sell Eze. I mean, you don't want to sell Eze on deadline day if someone matched the release clause. So yeah,
I mean, the thing is, the
release clause. So
the thing with Eze is, based on just that goal in the FA Cup final alone, legend. Like Mount Rushmore, Crystal Palace. He has to be. Do I begrudge him a move? No. I also believe the club could. I wouldn't even say find the next Eze, because that's not really how I look at it. But I feel like the club would be competent enough to develop and move on from him. Yes, we would definitely be a weaker side initially without, but £68 million, invest in some decent up-and-coming players that are available and be linked with as potential replacements. Excuse me. I feel that would be all right either way. I just have to be diplomatically clear about this. I wouldn't begrudge him the move, because I would almost debate what more could he do for us.
Yeah, 100%. If Eze was to leave, I'd be happy with £68 million, but nothing less than release clause for Arsenal. Nothing. They've got money. If they don't want to pay up, then don't pay up. If you don't think it's worth that money, then that's fine. We move on. We're not keen to sell him. So yeah, but they've got time period as well. Based on last season, they've got about a month until that release clause expires. So I guess up until that month, we're going to be talking about Eze. It's just not going to end.
In the other light, though, I would really love to see the club build a team around him, which we are doing anyway. I feel like that's a thing anyway. I feel like we've built possibly one of the best, considering if you think about it, the past 2 summers we've lost one of our greatest ever in Zaha. Then the following summer we lost Elise. I would really love to see the club just really build around him.
Yeah.
But let's see where it goes. I have faith.
Yeah, if you haven't already hit the like button, please hit the like button. We're on 63 right now. There's over 100 of you watching. Let's see if we can hit 100 likes. Of course, there are people who watch on replay as well. So make sure to get involved in the comment section down below. If Eze doesn't go this season, he sees out his career at Palace. Do you think there's that scenario when we're looking at Eze and Elise that is just different? Elise is much younger than Eze, and Eze is pretty much in his prime right now. Do you think it's a case of Eze might be thinking, now I need the move, otherwise I might not be as appealing?
Would he? I think, put it this way, he's in the England team anyway. He's got a legendary status. It could be that, if he's more money, if he sort of goes down to the winding down side of his career, he could obviously pursue more money elsewhere. I would love to be able to give him the trophies here, but let's be realistic. We only just picked up our first one in our existence very, very recently. That's the thing with Eze. He's never actively come out and said, I want to leave. But then at the same time, he's never actively sat there and gone, I want to stay at Palace for life. I feel like he would be happy either way. I don't feel like he would be bitter or down tools about it. And he seems to be very appreciative of the fact that there are certain clubs, due to the way that his career developed initially, that were willing to take the chance on him, because there are obviously clubs that never gave him that chance and never gave him or never looked at him like the kind of player that he's managed to develop at Palace. I wouldn't hate it. I reckon there's still a good 4 or 5 seasons out of him that you could get some sort of prime levels of.
Yeah, he's in his prime right now, I think.
Yeah, what was he? 20? So he's going to be 28 this year, or was it next season?
Let me just double check, but
I believe he's going to be 28 going into the season or by the end of next season.
Oh no, he turned 27 just recently, 29th of June.
So 7, 8, 9, so
he's going to be 27.
Yeah, let's pretend realistically 4 or 5 years. If a club is going to come in for him, that's a club that's going to want to win right now. That's he can't do that move. I'd say in the next 2 or 3 years, that move will be unavailable to him. So it just depends on what kind of people he's got around him. He seems settled. I believe he get married in the summer as well.
Yeah, he got married.
He's living his best life. He's playing chess with bloody Richard Branson and stuff like that. So he seems like he's in a good mind space, and he seems like a very good professional as well. So I don't ever sort of have those concerns about him as well. So I guess it's just down to whether he, how desperate he. And if those clubs are willing to pay the money. I feel like he'd be, I think he'd be happy either way.
Yeah, same. That's how I see it. I think the scenario is, of course, I don't know Ebbs personally, but I think it's a case of if Arsenal pay the release clause, I think he'll be open to joining Arsenal. I think he'll be happy to join Arsenal, and I think that'd be a good step in his career. However, I don't think he's desperate for a move. I think, as you said, he's happy with where he's at. And also, he needs to make the right decision, because next year's World Cup year. And he's playing at Palace. So the football club that he goes to, they need to make sure that, he's getting good enough minutes. If he goes to a football club and another club and he ends up, I don't know, coming off the bench and not playing as much, and then there's another player in this position that's playing week in, week out and actually scoring goals, getting assists, it could be a problem. And as you said, because of his age, there's only so many World Cups that you could potentially go to. So I think that's in the back of his mind. So I think it's a win-win situation for Ebbs. If he stays at Palace, I think he'll play. I think he'll end up going to the World Cup. If he moves to a bigger club, then he's got even a bigger chance of winning trophies and growing his brand and his name as well at the peak of his career. So it just depends on if these football clubs are willing to pay. And right now, I don't think Arsenal... Let's see down the line. But right now, they don't sound serious. If they were serious, it's so easy. You go trigger the release clause. But they just want to play the long game with him.
Pay the money, bro.
Exactly.
Pay the money.
They paid £50 million for Madueke. How on earth do you go and do
Respect
that
me,
and
bro.
you come to us?
Respect me, respect me, respect me.
And then
Respect
you
me.
come to us and you're saying he's not worth £68 million. Are you taking a piss? I'll block their number if I was Parish. You just paid £50 million for Madueke, and you're coming to us about Eze saying, "Oh, £68 million is too much." How dare you? How dare we smoking? What are you
They
actually
don't know
smoking?
this is big. They don't know, man. Palace are peaking right now, big man. Like we're not little
And
Palace no more.
apparently we're a vulnerable club. What the fuck does that even mean?
That's a mad
We're a
statement. That is
vulnerable
a
club. Vulnerable
diabolical
about
statement.
what? We're like we just literally want to like what are they talking about? But yeah, if he did leave for £68 million, I think that's good enough money for us to get a replacement as well. So I don't think we'll be in an awful position. But yeah, I'd rather Eze stays, and next season we'll go for more trophies, and that might be the Conference League. So yeah, and the good thing is there's the likes of Wharton and other players that's been quiet. I think the two players that are most likely to leave is Gay and Eze. But right now, they're still training with us. They're still at the football club. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens towards the end of the season.
They're both staying. Screw it. They're both staying. They're both staying.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're both staying. I think Parish spoke to Gary Lineker, and I don't know. I saw someone say that he kind of hinted that they could be leaving, but
I've seen clips, but I haven't sat and watched the whole thing. I don't think I'll even get the opportunity for at least the next couple of days anyway. But hopeful mind. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Look, let's leave it as that today. It's good to be back. We'll be back throughout the week, and we'll be doing more content and potentially some video ideas as well. So if you haven't already done so, subscribe. If you have enjoyed this, please hit the like button. I think we're on 70 likes so far. It's good to see everyone back in the chat, and hopefully we'll get this European problems all solved soon, so we can actually start talking about proper transfer business, because it's been quiet in that end. But if you have enjoyed it, like, subscribe. Thanks to AJ, thanks to each and every single one of you for watching this. And until next time, up the Palace.